semester go by, say you needed this book for one of your courses, and it's like you didn't do well because you didn't have the book. It's like, well, you got to let people know. You got to let people know you need help.
Like, I think of school as you investing in yourself.
Nobody likes to read the fine print. Classes are your job, and if you don't do your job, you're not going to get paid for that job. We would give everybody their financial aid if we could. Like, we just wouldn't do this if we didn't have to. Hi, everybody. I'm C.A.R.E. the host of Tuesday Talks, a financial literacy series, and we are starting off our spring 25 sessions. We're starting off with financial aid fails, 5 mistakes you can't afford to make. And today with me are my fellow financial aid counselors, Kate and Robin. So thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. It's good to get out of the office. That's where we've been for weeks preparing for this spring semester. So I hope everybody's having a good start to the spring semester. I think we've gotten everybody settled now. I think
Just about.
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling in financial aid. And unfortunately, we already have to start thinking about 25, 26. So I feel bad. Everyone's just getting settled, and here we are. Like, let's think about next year, y'all.
It's never ending.
It is never ending. But yeah, so I wanted to do this one first because I think it's very easy to get started early and have all your financial aid ready for next year before you even leave for the spring semester to go home for the summer.
It makes your life easier.
It does make your life easier. It makes our life easier. And
we're here on campus now to help you to get it done before you go home.
You're on campus here.
Yeah, more important, we're all here together now.
Yes.
So we're going to count down the top 5 mistakes. But like Kate said when we were all talking about this, is all of these are really number ones, just A, B, C, D, E, F. So it's very difficult to break this down and put it in an order. But we're going to go ahead and start with number 5. So stick with us until number 1 for the big reveal. So number 5, not calling us for help.
Yes.
What are you guys' thoughts on that?
We're here to help you. So many times we get students who eventually find us and say, I wish I would have come sooner, or I was too scared to come, or I didn't know to come. Just come. Come see us.
Yeah, if you have any question. I mean, we can help with so much.
Especially if things change in your situation. Like something happens at home where a parent loses a job, or something happens that changes your income situation, or you can't make that next monthly payment, those kind of things. We have some resources and some tools to help find other ways to replace, help you find funding and things like that. So don't let the semester go by, say you needed this book for one of your courses, and it's like you didn't do well because you didn't have the book. It's like, well, you got to let people know. You got to let people know you need help.
Yeah, because, I mean, we can't read your minds, unfortunately. There's a lot of you and 3 of us. This is it. We're all here. So, yeah, it's a little scary that we're all here and not in the office.
Right? I wonder what's happening.
Yeah. But, yeah, if you're missing vital things for your class, a laptop broke, you don't have a book, generally, if it's things like that, we can find something to help.
There are a lot of resources on campus. I don't think a lot of people know.
Yeah.
But just, coming to us and asking, we can help guide you toward those resources.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot working with online student success, too, and just Student Success Center more, is like if you're waiting for like a book, maybe you have it on order, like the library will scan you pages of that textbook.
And they have a lot of pages there, on order. Like, you can go there and look at them and everything. Yeah.
So there's a way to get anything you need. There's loaner laptops and IT. You can go sign one out. Lots of computer labs on campus. So yeah, but if you need money and it's something that's vital to your education, we can usually figure out how to get you that. I mean, sometimes we don't always have the answer that students want, but I think it's better to ask than not ask.
Yeah.
It's better to have tried than not tried. Because at least you can say you did your due diligence, you know. But when we don't see you in the office, we're like, well, we were here.
I mean, we'd rather see
Where were
you,
you?
at the beginning of the semester asking for help
Mhm.
than, do poor in a class because you didn't have that. We'd rather see you at the beginning.
Yeah, our goal is for everyone to succeed. So we're going to do what we can. And Kate knows more about the heart committee than I do, so I'll let you speak about
Yeah,
that.
so we have a heart committee. That's what we call it. If you see, it's on your portal, the student needs application. We help fund students, with a whole bunch of stuff. Books mainly, but also like for commuters, like we give gas cards, and we even give like gift cards for groceries. So any food insecurities you may have, we can help with that too. So that's an application that anybody can apply for.
Yeah, and typically you'll want to come to us for like regular state and federal aid first. And if for some reason we say, oh, you don't have any eligibility for that, that's when you'd go to the heart committee. So I think for those out there listening, like, don't go to the heart committee straight away.
If you have a refund, we're going to direct you to use your refund. But.
Yeah, because if you have a refund, you can use that. Or, we want to, there's limited funding for stuff like that. So we want to make sure we use all of our federal and state funding that we have before we go using limited funds like that. Which it's so weird, like all your life you go, oh, we got to save money. But then if you work in financial aid, we have to spend money. We're like, oh, we got to spend this, and it's like, what?
Right.
So yeah, come see us, use our funds. 'Cause a lot of people don't realize too, like if we don't use the funds, then the government gives us less to use because they're like, oh, Alfred State's not using all of this grant money or blah, blah, blah. We'll reallocate it. It's like, so we have money. You have to meet eligibility requirements in most cases, but we can definitely help. And there's also, even if you don't know where to go, we can direct you to like the food pantry on campus, the community needs hub, to student success center. Like if you need anything, even if it's not financial aid related and you have no idea where to go, we can point you in the right direction, get you on the right path. So yeah, even if it's not finances.
Yeah, especially talking about Student Success Center, that's probably one of, other than the finances, your education progress is probably the most important, and not looking for help when you're struggling in a course is really one of the top mistakes you can make as a student. If you need help, you ask for help, and the Student Success Center is there to help you do that. So again, people don't know you need help if you don't reach out and ask, and they're there to provide you support and tutoring and things along those lines to help you keep your grades up. So don't forget about that part either.
Yeah, and Robin, I'll let you speak. I think a lot of people, we kind of talked about it, don't know that they can appeal their financial aid, which we call professional judgments. So I don't know if you want to speak to that a little bit.
Talked a little bit about if your situation changes at home with parents, like losing a job, or someone gets sick and they're out of work for a while. Things do change in your household. So when those events happen and you start to feel that it's affecting your ability to pay for school, come and see us at the financial aid office, because we are allowed through the government to use discretion to change information on your FAFSA that better reflects what's currently going on with your household and your income. So sometimes it helps students, sometimes it doesn't make any difference. It all depends on the numbers and how much the change is, but it doesn't, like C.A.R.E keeps saying it, if you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah, it's better to just do it. And even though we might say, oh no, you can't receive any more aid, at least we tried, At least you tried, we tried,
Yeah.
you know, and like I said, we do have money to help, but again, there is federal and state laws we have to abide by to award those funds. So that's why I always say you should still ask, even though you might not get the answer you want. At least we all tried.
Right.
We've
Right.
done everything we can. All right. Let's move on to number 4.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So I think the biggest thing we see with new students, at least incoming students, is that they fill out the FAFSA and they think they're just ready to go. But
Yep.
unfortunately, if you're living on campus, the likelihood of your awards determined by the FAFSA are not going to cover your whole bill.
Mm-mm.
I think, too, a lot of people get confusion between a bill and tuition. Like,
Right.
a lot of people refer to it as a tuition bill, but it's not specifically a tuition bill. There's other things on that bill. Comprehensive fees, and if you're living on campus, room and meal plan charges. So, and I hear a lot of people just talking in general, you know, whether I'm here in the office or out in public, other places, I always overhear conversations of, it didn't cover my tuition. It covers your tuition. Between Pell, TAP, and Excelsior, whatever you might be eligible for, your tuition, if you're a New York State resident, is covered for the most part. It's the room and meals that are the issue.
Yes.
So I don't know if you guys have anything further to add.
I think we find, like if students just do the FAFSA, they don't think there's anything else that needs to be done. Take accountability. It's your bill, review it. Make sure there's a plan in place for when you drive all the way here. Making sure things are settled. Definitely.
Yeah, and sometimes there's other requirements you have to do after we get your FAFSA. Like you need to accept or decline your loans. You might be selected for what's called verification. I don't know, maybe we need a proof of something else like income, or maybe somebody forgot to sign the FAFSA, stuff like that.
Or maybe you just have a balance, maybe
Yeah.
there's still just a balance that needs to be paid with a payment plan or a private loan or, whatever the case may be.
So our department has gone way above board trying to create communications to send to students and parents through texting, through email, through
the new Family Connects portal.
Family Connects portal, all in attempts to, direct students and parents to the website to check out what are your missing requirements, to review your financial aid plans, to look at your bill. So when you get these communication things from us, it's important to pay attention. It's really frustrating when you're working with a student and they call, say it's like in July, and they think, well, I filed my FAFSA in April, but I haven't heard anything. And it's like, well, yeah, you did. Because we've, sent in the meantime a dozen different communications trying to direct you on where to keep the process moving. So it is important to pay attention to those communications and just don't blow them off as like junk mail or something, because it's important, all part of the process.
Yeah, and we provide detailed steps usually, and your links are all in there that you need to go to, and
it's not easy. It's confusing.
Mm-hmm.
It can be complicated.
Yeah, it's a lot of steps.
There's things that you can do that your parents can't do, and vice versa.
Yep.
So you need to work together, as a family to get these things, to get these steps done.
That's why number 5 is important.
I was going to say, go back to number 5.
Go back to number 5.
Because that's what we're here for. We're here to help.
Yeah. Like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our students.
Yeah.
You are our sole purpose.
Yes.
For being here.
Right,
so please use us as guides.
Yes.
All right. Who's ready for number 3?
Let's go.
Let's go. They're ready.
This is you, girl.
Oh, this is all me. So, unfortunately, a lot of people think loans aren't a form of financial aid.
Mm-hmm.
But they are. If you're living on campus, you're probably going to need to borrow them.
Or
It's
I
just-
feel like they have, like, loans are so scary. I don't want to take out loans. I don't want to
Yep.
take out loans.
But sometimes they're
If
necessary.
you borrow responsibly, it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's the vital term. Responsibly.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately they're needed, you know, so if you can't pay for it out of pocket, your remaining balance, unfortunately you will need to accept those loans if you weren't eligible for any like outside scholarships or anything like that. And just don't borrow more than you need. Like if you need, let's say your bill's $2,000 and maybe you need book money, fine, but leave it at that. For then anyway, things pop up, but you can always contact me if you need more, if you have more loan eligibility. But I would start off small and we can adjust from there.
Right.
Because it creeps up really fast, especially if you're here for 4 years. You know, you can borrow up to $31,000 as a dependent undergraduate student. And let me tell you what, that $31,000 sneaks up on you pretty fast. And then there's interest tied to your loans. So if you're taking out $10,000 by the time you graduate, depending on your interest rate, I mean, it could be $13,000, $20,000. It just depends.
Yeah.
You know, what your interest rate is, what you choose as a repayment term, and yeah, you end up paying back a lot more. So if you have a job, if you have a work-study job, I would suggest saving that money for small things like books. Because that $600 in books could really add up over 10 years.
For sure.
Instead of paying the $600 out of pocket for books, now you're paying like $2,000 for those books that you could have maybe saved money for. We're not all in that situation. And we understand that. But just keep in mind what it means to borrow a loan. It is expected to be repaid, whether you graduate or not, 6 months after you leave school for any reason.
When I think about loans, I think about, like, you know, most people, you have to take out a loan to buy a car. You have to take out a loan to buy a house.
It's a part of life.
They're investments. Like, I think of school as you investing in yourself. You know, and it's okay to have a little, you know, have
I
a
always
loan
say
there.
debt is healthy as long as you don't let it get out of control. You need debt to live a financially successful life because you need to build your credit score. You need to have a credit report.
Yeah.
You know, and I think student loans are a good way to start that. That way, when you do get out of college, you can buy a car on your own. You can buy a house because banks want to see that you can borrow and successfully repay.
Responsibly.
Responsibly, successfully manage your loans. It's just vital. It's a vital part of your financial success.
I can't go buy a car and pay in full. You know?
No.
Like, that's
the likelihood of paying for a house out of pocket or a car is very slim. Maybe a down payment.
Sure.
But not the whole thing.
Right.
If you can pay for all that, okay, you're lucky.
Good for you.
When I always tell the story, my brother-in-law, his parents paid for his college because he was lucky. Very nice parents.
Very capable parents. Because there are a lot of parents that can't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, it's not. That's like a 1% thing.
Right.
That rarely happens. And my sister had to borrow. My family had to borrow for her education. Then they moved to Florida, and they had to fill an application to get an apartment, and the apartment did like credit checks and stuff. Guess who couldn't sign on the lease by himself? My brother-in-law, because he had no debt.
Right.
But my sister had been paying student loans for a few years, and they saw she had a credit score and a credit report, and she had to sign the lease.
For her.
So it sounds so backwards,
right.
But I'm just trying to prove a point.
Yeah, it's the way it is.
One of those stepping stones.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So, yeah. And I think, too, right now, let's see, federal subsidized and unsubsidized rates are around 6.5%. And plus loans are what? Almost 9% now?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Sometimes it's safer to borrow the federal loans because you're protected a little more than a private loan. However, if your family has a healthy credit score and credit report, you might be able to get a private loan at a way better interest rate.
At this point, yeah, I think when I first started here, the interest rates for federal was like 2%.
Yeah.
Yeah, in COVID,
Yeah.
they dropped down to like 2.5%.
Yeah.
And you couldn't beat that. But now I would say we're back to pre-pandemic rates.
Yeah.
I think when I started here in 2016, they were like 6.5 or 6.7, and plus loans were around 7 or 8%.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're back.
We're back.
We're back. We're back to pre-COVID rates, and it's not super. So definitely shop around. We have lots of resources on our financial aid website. So yeah, just think about all of that.
Yeah.
I just feel like I threw a lot
It is.
of loan information.
Go back to number 5. Come to us and we can help you.
Yeah, I think the trend is going to be like,
Don't stress over
Go back.
loans by yourself.
no,
Right.
I can
Yeah.
break it down. I've been doing it for a while. I can
Yeah.
break it down really easy for you.
Right.
But you got to help me help you. So
There it is. Help us help you.
help us help you. All right, we're getting down there. Number 2 is a big one.
Number 2 is.
I think we're going to be here for a little bit
Oh man.
on number 2. Nobody likes to read the fine print. Guilty of not reading fine print. However, financial aid, you might want to read the fine print. So like when we ask for the data surveys in Bannerweb, you're agreeing to financial aid terms and conditions. So yeah,
With money comes responsibility.
with money comes responsibility. And let's talk about satisfactory academic practice first. I always tell students that classes are your job, and if you don't do your job, you're not going to get paid for that job. That's the simplest way to put it. So doing your job efficiently is getting a C average to keep your financial aid.
Yeah.
And that's why we talked about number 3 through 5.
Yeah.
Call us for help. Go to your resources, because if you start falling behind and you have not sought any help and you get below that C average, there's not much we can do to help you at that point.
Right.
So, and there's different standards for your state aid and your federal aid. So you need to take enough credits. You need to pass your classes with at least a C to remain in good standing. So if you ever get a warning email or something like that at the end of one semester, you're going to want to make sure your next semester is super duper.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why, you can have a difficult semester with your grades. It could be maybe you were sick and missed a lot of class, or something was going on at home where you had to go home more frequently than usual to take care of a sick parent or something like that. Could have had an accident. There's many things that could have distracted you from doing well during the semester. So you may have a really bad semester, and you may get notified that because of that you've lost some financial aid eligibility, but there is an appeals process that goes with that. So if you get notification that you didn't meet academic progress, you're sent communications with information on how to appeal to get your aid back. But the appeal reasons have to be, legitimate. They can't be because, you worked too many jobs during the semester, or, you just weren't serious about your schooling when you first started. I mean, those aren't things that can really be appealable. But if it's a situation that was out of your control, pretty much, then you should definitely take advantage of the appeals process.
Yeah, and that's when we'll guide you to like tutoring, student success, because we want to make sure you stay on track. So yeah, just again, call us, use your resources. And I mean, the whole satisfactory academic progress can be avoided, essentially, regardless of what happens in life, because we understand that life happens.
Yeah.
But if you're not talking to us and getting the resources you need, sometimes you fall way too behind, even if it is legitimate excuses, and then we're not really sure what to do at that point. It becomes difficult. And yeah, we don't like to see anybody fall behind.
Yeah. Just understand, there is a criteria you have to follow. It is on our website. So if you're curious what the criteria is, it is out there. But there is a criteria you have to follow in order to keep your aid, bottom line.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's federal and state law.
Yep.
It's not anything that we personally want to do. We would give everybody their financial aid back
Yeah.
if we could. Like, we just wouldn't do this if we didn't have to. But again, kind of going back to number 3, it's kind of to control student debt, to make sure federal and state funding's being used appropriately, things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's
And
reasons.
sometimes you're into the semester maybe a third of the way, half of the way, and things are really going wrong in your personal life or academically, and you're like, I'm not able to complete this semester. So you talk to your academic department about maybe taking a withdrawal or a leave of absence, so that you don't have a semester with grades that are all on Fs or whatever.
Or incomplete.
So you can take a withdrawal or leave of absence anytime during the semester. But there's also regulations that we have to follow that, again, allow you to only keep the certain amount of aid that you've earned. Again, to what Carrie was talking about,
Yeah.
you got to earn your aid to stay in school. Same thing with completing a semester. If you don't complete the full semester, you can't keep all of your aid. So there are a lot of different things that can happen with your charges and your financial aid at whatever point you end up leaving the school during the semester. But the most important thing is, if you find yourself in that situation, is to come and talk to us and talk to your academic department about what's going on, so we can best guide you on how to do all this successfully.
Yeah, because we can sit down with you and estimate what your tuition liability is. If you're living on campus, those will get prorated as well. And then, and it's okay to take a withdrawal or a leave. Don't put yourself in more stress if you don't need to. You need to take care of you first, your health, your mental health. That's the most important. So, I would say don't be ashamed if you need to take a leave of absence or withdrawal. Get yourself sorted out, pick yourself up, try again. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's why these options are out there, so that they can help.
Yeah, because we want to make sure, I'd hate to see somebody pay for a whole semester and then fail and have to repeat everything and stay here for an extra semester. And
it just adds more stress upon stress.
Then you just start that vicious cycle of financial stress, academic stress, mental health stress, and it's hard to get out of that sometimes. SAP is a process.
It's a complicated process.
It is a
that's for
complicated
sure.
process. And so kind of going along with that, we've been talking about tuition liability. So again, whether you withdraw or take a leave of absence, you at this point, after the first week of class, you're going to incur some of liability. And that's another big part of the terms and conditions of your financial aid. So, whether it's SAP appeals or just withdrawals or leaves, or even if you drop a class, you just be mindful of what those liabilities are. Because we have a lot of what we refer to as part of term classes. Like some of you, especially at Wellsville campus or in Buffalo, you complete your courses in subsets. So you might do 6 credits for 3 weeks, and then you might do another 6 credits for another 3 weeks, or you might do the 7-week part of term. And those all have different liabilities to them. So your full term course is going to have like a slower liability, but those 7 and 3 week courses, I mean, you might incur 100% liability with like in 3 days, you know.
Yeah.
So you just have to really focus on that too.
But good news, you can come talk to us.
Good news, you can refer back to number 5.
And
all right, and the big one.
the big one,
Number
C.A.R.E.
Number 1, procrastinating.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. And also just not applying for aid. I
Yeah.
think procrastinating and just not doing your financial aid processes is probably the biggest mistake we see.
Yeah. Waiting to the very last minute.
Yeah. Especially like if you, a lot of people are like, we won't get anything. We're not going to do it. But like we were talking about, if your financial situation changes in the middle of the year and you have no FAFSA on file, we literally, I don't want to say we can't help, but it's going to be a very long process to get that assistant.
Yeah.
So if you're like strapped for cash and you need it fast, we
And that's
can't
why
do it
I always
fast.
tell people, like, you know, even if they don't plan on using the loans and that's all they're going to be eligible for, so they don't even do the FAFSA, still do the FAFSA. Because
Yeah.
if something happens and you're like, oh man, I need assistance now, like without the FAFSA, you don't have access to those federal loans
Yeah.
right then and there. So do the FAFSA.
Robin's our main like verification and professional judgment processor, so we're usually going to refer her to you. And if she doesn't have your FAFSA, there's not much she's going to be able to help you with immediately anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you'll still help you get the FAFSA done and go through the whole process, but I mean, it could take weeks.
A lot of scholarship sponsors too require a FAFSA so that they can determine your eligibility for their scholarships. So another reason why, even if you don't think you're going to, or know you're not going to get anything but loans, you should still do it because your scholarship sponsors might require it.
Yep. And if you're looking into outside scholarships too, there's usually deadlines on those, so you don't want to procrastinate those, especially if they require an essay or something like that.
I mean, our deadline's coming up March 1st already for new freshmen for scholarships, and that's like a month away.
Yeah, priority.
So it's it really comes around quick.
Yeah, so March 1st deadline is our priority scholarship deadline. That's what Robin's referring to make sure you receive max aid. We also have those deadlines for federal aid that we get limited funds on, like the federal nursing loan, federal work study, things like that. Those funds run out really fast. I mean, I'm not saying there's not a chance you can't get them later on, because sometimes students decide to come, or they decide they don't want a work study job, or they don't want the nursing loan, and then we can award them to other students. But if you want to see that on your financial aid plan, you'll want to have the FAFSA. I'd say you'd want to start it a week before the March 1st deadline.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't import every day necessarily sometimes to get the FAFSAs from the federal government, or there's delays, you just don't know. Just talking about delays, I always say, please give us like 3 days to respond to your request. That's another reason why you shouldn't procrastinate, because we are unfortunately human as well. And in our office, you don't know when we might be out. We get sick, kids get sick, our significant others get sick. I broke my leg. I was out for like 5 months. So let's just start with that.
Broke my leg.
Broke my leg. Oh, still dealing with that. I'm here, but my leg's here.
Yeah, she literally broke her leg.
Like in multiple places. Like, we're not joking. Like many places. It was not fun. Don't recommend. 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, things happen, so if you're procrastinating and for some reason I'm not there the next day.
But also a lot of
done.
like our processes, like they're not instantaneous.
No.
I
would say all financial aid processes, whatever you ask for, will probably take at least 3 business days.
Absolutely.
I would vote more on the 5-day range.
Yeah. Even like accepting loans.
Yeah.
Like
that takes a good 3 days.
It's not instantaneous. It's not on your bill right away as soon as you accept. There's other things you have to complete.
And if I'm not there,
it's
going to take longer.
We depend on other agencies too that process applications and funding for students. So like the New York State grants and scholarships, I mean, that's an outside agency. And we have to receive and send files back and forth, continuously. And, so it's not like we have control over all the funding sources because
Yeah.
we don't.
What Robin is saying is we don't have a money tree out back.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go pick it. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, essentially, we have no money. Like, I mean, everything you see on your bill is ghost money until those other entities provide us the money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're
So
placeholders.
they're placeholders. Yeah. And everything you see on your bill is a placeholder. So if the entities don't pay us, we can't pay you.
Mm-hmm.
So do your applications.
So do your application. So do your applications on time. Yeah. I don't know. I think that pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
Well, for any continuing students, if you've done your FAFSA already, we have begun packaging for 25-26 school year. I
Yep,
know
and
it
we're
sounds kind of
starting to
weird.
release the financial aid packages.
So you can, if you haven't received a ping from us already, check your
Ping.
My Alfred State to see if you have a financial aid plan out there for next year.
Yeah, my.alfredstate.edu, and then the finances page should be your best friend, your favorite website.
For sure.
All right. So with that, Kate and I will be in SET 117 on February 18th from 5 to 6 p.m. to help you do your FAFSA and TAP applications. So come see us. I don't want to hear that nobody was there to help you because we're right here. We're right here and willing to guide you and get everything ready for your summer and or fall semester. Well, that's the other thing. If you want to take summer class, you'll want to have your FAFSA done as soon as possible as well because we need to have your 25-26 FAFSA on file because the summer term starts the 25-26 year, which I think some people forget.
And if you're interested in summer work study, you have to have your 25-26 FAFSA done because work study funding pulls from that too.
Yeah, we can't pay you if you don't have it.
Exactly.
Summer's right around the corner.
It is right around.
It's February.
Well,
but
I think
it
it'll
really is
open
right
in April registration.
I think so. April 7th,
somewhere around
something
there.
like that.
So like we got 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming.
Those are gonna go by fast.
I can't believe it's already February.
Mm-hmm.
So lastly, we've been talking a lot about calling us. If you need us, we're in the 10 Elm building. If you go to Ag Science, you will not find us there anymore, as there are large construction fences up. Yeah, so come see us. On our website, we have our email address and phone number. We take walk-ins from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday.
We do have computers down there. So
we do have computers.
If you have a couple hours in the middle of your day, you can come down and we can get you started with the FAFSA.
Yep.
You know, we can help guide you in any way. So we do have computers down there too.
Yep, and we're here all summer.
Yeah, we're here all summer.
We're just here 24/7 minus Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, or just come to say hi to us. We like to talk. Clearly,
as you can see,
yes,
we've been here way too long already. Yeah, just come say hi, get to know us. We're real people. We like to laugh. We're chill. I mean, look at me. I have jeans on and sneakers because I can't wear heels anymore because I broke my leg. So with that, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me.
Of course, this was
It's been a
awesome.
blast. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Reminds me why we do this work.
Yeah, this is why we do this work.
To help the students.
And I'm sure in Robin's 30 years doing this, she never imagined once that she'd be doing a podcast.
Never. No.
And neither did I. 9 years ago, if somebody's like, "C.A.R.E, you're going to be podcasting."
Oh, sure.
I'd be like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." Is that a verb, podcast?
Right. Something.
All right. Well, we're going to stop talking at everybody now and wish them well on their Tuesday. And Kate and I are going to see you on the 18th.
Yep.
In SET 117
Be there.
from 5 to 6 p.m. Be there or be square.
Be square.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.